Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, EmeraldPlanet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the EmeraldPlanet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the EmeraldPlanet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. and the United States as we're looking around the globe for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we go to a planet with 9 billion people by 2050, how are we going to be able to provide the basic infrastructure, the health care, the education, the food, the fuel, the fiber, everything that's needed not only just to sustain human life, but to allow people to flourish. I have two people sitting right beside me. They're working on the continent of Africa in the country of Zimbabwe. And they're very much about all of this as they're taking societies and giving them a modern education as well as health care and fresh water and many of the other infrastructures needed. Right beside me is Gib Leonard, and beside him is Sheila Farthing. They are co-founders of BuyaBrickFoundation and Team Africa. And welcome, Gib and Sheila.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam.
Glad to have you on EmeraldPlanet TV. Gib, start off, what is BuyaBrickFoundation, a very long name that you have there, and also Team Africa?
Okay. Well, thanks for having us on the show, Sam. Number one, the BuyaBrickFoundation is a nonprofit organization that's incorporated here in the United States. We also achieved nonprofit status in Zimbabwe in December of 2013. Mm-hmm. And our goal is to build schools and create self-sustaining villages. The Team Africa name is kind of our domain name, number one. It's our URL. It's teamafrica.com. And the Team Africa is all about people that are volunteering and participating in the BuyaBrickFoundation here in the U.S. and the local Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe, Africa.
Now, Sheila, why did you become on the continent of Africa and then also with Zimbabwe? That's a long way from Washington, D.C. and the United States. So tell us a little bit about that decision-making process.
It is a long way. My first trip to Africa was to Zimbabwe was in 2008 with a local group here. And what I found there was just an amazing group of people who just lacked a lot of the basic necessities that they needed to have a regular life, and I just fell in love with the people, with their joy and the happiness that they had, and I wanted to find a way that I could get more involved with them and to help them more. And as I left Zimbabwe, I went home and I did some more research to try and find out more about the country, and found that they were in the top 10 poorest countries in the world. But they used to be such a flourishing country, and because they had such political tensions in their country, there was very little aid that was making its way there. And so I just felt, along with Gib, that we were really called to go to Zimbabwe and to provide the assistance, whatever assistance that we could, to help them out.
Well, looking at traveling over there, that's a long trip, Gib. It takes a lot of time, it's wearing, but at the same time, it's very invigorating once you're on the ground. You see everything that's going on around you. And I know you're near the Victoria Falls, which is really quite famous in the world as far as a tourist designation. But also it's a very vibrant region of both Zimbabwe and Zambia. So how do you decide when you're going to go, the why of going, and then just tell us about the travel, getting back and forth.
Okay. Well, the travel actually takes about 35 hours from start to finish. Why do we go? Well, we saw the need, as Sheila just mentioned. We saw a tremendous need there. And how do we go about picking the projects? Now, that's very interesting. We've been there now for 12 years. And so what happens, Sam, is actually the Zimbabwe government is actually writes to us and asks us, will you build a school in this particular village? So what's really exciting about this is the fact that our small little organization is actually being asked by a major government thousands of miles away to come and build a school and help educate the children in Zimbabwe.
Now you were talking about, and I'll just follow up on this, Gib, that you have 12 school buildings that you've put up over there. Tell us, so the government was corresponding with you, hey, please come in, build these schools, But now you're at 12, so what's
Yeah.
the dynamic of that?
Well, the dynamic of that hasn't really changed from the standpoint of we have received letters from as high up as the Ministry of Education in Harare that continues to write to us that says, please continue to build schools, please build special needs schools, please write an HIV/AIDS curriculum. So the reality is our goal, Sheila's and mine, is to take the BuyaBrick and really just continue working with the local Ministry of Education and then also the country Ministry of Education.
Well, this is really a good segue, Sheila, as far as the 4 main goals and the broader objectives that you have. What are those 4 main goals that you have, and how does that tie in specifically with the mission for the BuyaBrick Foundation and Team Africa?
The main goals that we have for the BuyaBrick Foundation is, the first one would be education. We believe that education is the foundation for any successful community. And without that basic essential, then you continue to have a circle of poverty in the communities. So our main goal is education, whether it's providing a brand new building for a school, whether it's refurbishing a building, whether it's just providing support as far as training teachers. And when we build a building, it's not just a school building. We also provide quarters for their teachers. We provide toilets because they don't have the basic essentials for a toilet. A lot of the children will go out into the bush to do their business instead of having a hygienic toilet to go to. So that's a really important part of the education that we're doing, is to educate them on hygiene and to provide places where they can have that. One interesting thing that we statistic is the children will go to primary school. They have a 95% enrollment rate for a primary school, which is kindergarten through 6th grade. But once they get past that enrollment rate drops into the 30%. And the reason why that rate drops is because children don't have a place to go. They don't have a secondary school to go to. Yeah. And so that's really important for us, is to put secondary schools in these local villages. And so we're doing that. We're also focused on the medical aspect there, where each village, we have a vision for each village to have a clinic either on the site or to have a mobile clinic that will go around to the different villages that don't have a place where we could put a stationary clinic. As Gib mentioned earlier, we have been asked to write an HIV/AIDS curriculum. So that's part of the medical education that we really want to be providing for each of the communities there. We also want to educate them on malaria and the ways that it can be avoided and can be treated by educating them on bed nets. You know, a child in Africa dies every 1 minute from malaria, which is such an easy thing to prevent. And so the medical education is very important to us. And agricultural. We really want to focus on putting gardens at each one of these school sites, teaching them how to grow the Artemisia plant, which is very effective in curing malaria, teaching them to grow Jatropha, which is, Gib is going to talk about that a little bit later. But all of these things really are important to get them to that 4th goal, which is to be a self-sustained community. And we believe that the basis of that is education. Through education, medical help, agricultural help, they will all become a self-sustained community.
Yeah, and also too, through the extension service of the United States through the land-grant universities, you have the 4-H program, and this was actually educating the parents, the adults of the family through the children, and you have the same focus, is that you focus on the youth, and then this is a carryover to the adults who really need to have, you know, the latest information and the opportunities to work with computers and learn about telecommunications and all these other things. Gib, and going on, taking this another step, you have this what's called Adopt a Village program, and that's something that's very important. So tell us a little bit about that, and what do you see for the thrust and the growth of that particular effort?
Right. The Adopt a Village program is simply a bigger vision from, let's say, Adopt a Child. It is the idea that corporations, church groups, universities, high schools, any organization would actually partner with the BuyaBrick Foundation. And what we'd actually do then is that organization would adopt an entire village. This solves a lot of problems. The Adopt a Village is everybody in unity together, working together in partnership as a big team. And we have proven this over the last 12 years how it can be done. So we basically have set a cookie cutter model already in place where your organization, somebody else's organization could join up with us and actually send their volunteers over to a particular village twice a year, once a year, whatever it's going to be, and you would find out whether or not they need new uniforms, school supplies, do they need water well, what's broken, let's help fix it. But also the main thing is to then bring to them what's going to work in their culture so that that village can become 100% self-sustaining.
Well, I tell you, that's really fantastic. And going back to the basic needs as far as water, sanitation, these things, in many ways, not only are you providing a service in this, Sheila, I think you were talking about that, but at the same time, you're really educating people about waterless toilets, which is something in the West we don't really concern ourselves with, but it's very critical for places like that. And also it goes to food production, gardening, and many other things. Looking at the relationship, I knew you were talking, or Gib was talking about the government contacting you, moving forward and all that. How do you establish these relationships with the local and the national government? And how do you foster that? And then what's the long-term benefit of having those type of very close working relationships?
Well, because we have been going to Zimbabwe for the last 12 years, we have really had the opportunity to meet many, many people. And as we go back every year, we meet those people again, and we develop relationships, and we continue correspondence with them via email and phone. Everybody has a cell phone there. And so we have become close with several people in the Ministry of Education, both in the districts that we work in and in the capital of Harare. We've got contacts in the local government as far as the CEO of the Wangi district, which is where we do most of our work, the school development committees. Word of mouth really just spreads, and so everybody seems to notice us because we've been there for 12 years. These relationships are really critical because the reason we've been so successful in Zimbabwe is because of these relationships, because of the people we've known.
That's fantastic. Gib, let's close out with the standard question. Where do you see BuyaBrick, Team Africa, next 5, 10, 15 years? And you have about 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
To do all of that.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully we're still going to be working there. The big idea at this particular point in time is we want to bring Jatropha so that we can create biodiesel. We want to get a brick molding machine there so we can create self-sustaining villages by applying brick molding. And we also want to expand our Zamtef, which is the malaria plant, the Artemisia, that we want to actually plant throughout.
Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.
There's more than just books at the library.
There's more than just books at the library.
Excuse me.
There's more than just books at the library.
Il y a plus que de livres à la bibliothèque.
Hello. You have a lot of great books here today. You know there's more than just books at the library.
I know.
There's more than just books at the library.
I don't want to be hooked to a machine.
I want all the medical treatment available to me.
I wouldn't want my family to have to make this decision.
My doctor knows what's best for me.
An advance directive is your life on your terms. Talk with your family. Decide what's right for you. Then put it in writing.
Documenting my wishes today means my family won't have to make heart-wrenching decisions later.
To learn more, visit www.putitinwriting.org.
1,200 American youth run away from their homes every day. The National Runaway Switchboard is here to help. 1-800-RUNAWAY. If you are a runaway, thinking about running away from home, or a parent or guardian concerned about issues facing your child, call us 24 hours a day. 1-800-RUNAWAY. In times of crisis, hope is just a phone call away. 1 800.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And we're looking for the ways that we're going to be able to take care of 2 billion new people are going to be joining us on planet Earth. And as we go to a population of over 9 billion people, and it's something that's a daunting task. And at the same time, because of climate change and the concentration of all these people in urban areas, that disasters are coming more often and also much more volatile than in the past. And we have 2 gentlemen that are actually working on this on behalf of Rotary International and the international group called the Rotaractors. We have Robert R., goes by Bob Grill, who is the chair, board of directors, and co-founder. It's a lot of titles you have there, Bob. Disaster Aid USA, and also he is the past district governor for District 7620 of Rotary International. And then sitting right beside him is Kyle Morford, who is the co-founder, member board of directors of Disaster Aid USA, and is vice president of the Rotaract Club of Washington, D.C. You guys are very, very busy, but we're glad to have you. Bob, welcome, and Kyle as well.
Thanks for having us.
Good. Thank you, Sam, for welcoming us here and helping us with our program that we so dearly love.
Well, I think you're doing absolutely great work, and Disaster Aid USA is really in many different countries, and also domestically is something we need to bring out. But tell us a little bit about Disaster Aid USA and its connection to Rotary International through the district, but also directly back to the mothership of Rotary International.
Well, the mothership is Rotary International. Rotary International consists of clubs. Clubs are actually members of Rotary International. Rotarians are members of the club. Disaster Aid USA is a project of a Rotary Club in Prince George's County called the Historic Rotary Club of Prince George's County.
And that's in Maryland,
that's
the
in
state
Maryland.
in the United States.
Right, and that used to be, just until recently, the name was changed. It used to be the Bladenburg Rotary Club of Bladenburg, Maryland.
Right.
In connection with Rotary International, Disaster Aid is more or less a recognized project of the Rotary Club of Historic Prince George's County. District-wise, we have been very much supported by District 7620. Since 2010, the district governors, and there's a new district governor every year, the district governors have helped promote us in the district, in neighboring districts, and have partnered with us on projects. And so they've been very much supportive of what we're doing. So.
Well, and Kyle, I know you're a member of the Rotaract Club, and so I'm going to have you define what that is. But why did you agree to be a co-founder and be involved in this Disaster Aid USA? And why the connection between Rotaractors and Disaster Aid?
Sure. Bob and I met each other at the tail end of 2009. We were met at a Rotary Club meeting and discussing, our passions in life, what we do. We both had been involved in domestic disaster relief and international domestic disaster relief for many years. Bob and I had the kind of verbal understanding at the time that we wanted to start some kind of organization that we thought more appropriate for Rotary values, for showing what Rotarians do in action, Rotary in action. So after many conversations in a few months, we put together a plan to come up with Disaster Aid USA. So we worked for a long time, all throughout 2010, getting Disaster Aid USA off the ground, getting a good solid board together, and it's been successful ever since. Rotaract Club, so what Rotaractors are 18 to 30-year-olds. We're in the Rotary family, so we're like the junior Rotarians, as you might say. I'm the vice president this year of the Rotaract Club of Washington, D.C. And it's very important to get younger people involved in disaster response. We may not always have as much time to give or as much money to give, but we do what we can, and it's a evolving dynamic. Trying to get younger people in disaster response organizations, trying to get volunteer experience. And we've been partnering with Rotaract clubs and Rotary clubs all around the world since 2009.
And also growing the next crop of Rotarians as far as that is concerned, which is really a great thing, because Rotary is one of the few international service organizations that continues to grow. 34,000 clubs around the globe, almost 1.4 million members, and so that's really a tremendous outreach. And Bob, you're part of that whole thing as a former district governor, and that's something that carries on many years in the future. But tell us about the difference between Disaster Aid USA and its work with the domestic side, and then how is that different than maybe what goes on with international disaster work?
Okay, well, there's an international disaster, say like the Philippines, like the typhoon that occurred over there last year. There's been one since then, but that was the main one that really Disaster Aid USA really put a lot of aid to. When Disaster Aid USA deploys, we deploy as Disaster Aid International because we have international Rotary Club partners, and when we do deploy, we always meet 2 directors from each country. Disaster Aid USA has 2 directors, Disaster Aid Australia has 2 directors, Disaster Aid UK Ireland, and Disaster Aid Malaysia. We usually meet by Skype.
So you're really covering the globe then, because you're on different continents with each of these different representatives.
Right, and probably one of the unique features is that we're all Rotary Club projects. And in order to be a partner, you have to be a Rotary Club project. So when a disaster occurs, we meet, it's by Skype, and we discuss the disaster, we discuss the need, and we discuss whether we should deploy. And if we decide we should deploy, we have a deployment manager. And it's his job to go over there and to talk to the people that are affected, the officials, Rotary clubs, district governors, whoever is involved in a disaster. And we asked, what do you need? And they say, you have a beautiful box. It has a beautiful tent in it, but there's items in there we don't need, so we really don't want the box. So can you provide us a tent? But we need tarpaulins because most of the roofs have been half destroyed, and this will make it. And also we need home repair kits. Okay, fine. So that's
the kits actually vary depending on the needs
on whatever
of
the need
whatever the
right.
disaster area, whether it's USA or international.
So you can see our tent there. Our tent is an 8-person tent. Our tent was developed, actually designed, by our executive director of Disaster Aid USA. He is the designer of the tent, and that is an 8-person tent. That tent is included in our disaster aid box when it's deployed. When the box is needed, we deploy the box.
Yeah.
That's our international side. And when we never send anything out, no aid is sent out unless DARTs go with it, Disaster Aid Response Team people. Those are people that have been trained for disaster relief. They make sure that the whatever we send out goes to the right people.
Okay, good. And we're going to talk about that in more depth in just a little bit. Kyle, about the organizational structure that you have, Bob was telling us a little bit about that. If you can be a little more specific.
Sure.
And then also what other groups, organizations are you collaborating with in order to bring this forward as far as disaster aid within the United States, local countries, and overseas?
When we set up Disaster Aid USA, we modeled it after Rotary's 11 U.S. Rotary zones. So what a Rotary zone is, for instance, there's a Rotary club in almost every city in the U.S. Okay, so those clubs, many of them create a district, and many districts in the different geographies make up a zone. So there's 11 zones across the U.S. Each zone is independent. They each have their own board made up of Rotarians in their zone, so throughout the districts in a zone. Each zone has the responsibility to recruit ambassadors, which are people who go out to other Rotary clubs, other civics organizations, and recruit people, spread the word. And then they're also responsible for recruiting disaster responders for their area, because they respond in their own zone. So if Zone 7 only responds to Zone 7, unless there's need in other zones. But they're basically responsible for governing their own zone. One person from that zone board responds to the Disaster Aid USA main board, and they're responsible for the organizational oversight.
So you really have national coverage, and I would assume that goes to all the territories of the United States.
Yes.
As well. Okay.
Yes, and each zone also has their own disaster response trailer. So everything that you would need, such as chainsaws and things that Bob will talk about in just a little bit.
Well, Bob, he teed it up for you perfectly.
That's right.
So he's talking about disaster response trailers, and we have one of these here on the image. What other supplies actually go along with these trailers?
Each trailer is more or less supplied to the disasters that normally occur in that zone. But generally speaking, the trailers are equipped with chainsaws. They have ladders. They have water filters. They have generators. They have a water purification unit. I know that this Zone 33's disaster relief trailer has a water wagon. That'll purify almost any surface water and make it drinkable. It'll remove not only the bacteria, but the virus.
Yeah, because water is critical.
Water is critical,
and that's the first thing to go.
I don't know, a couple of months ago there was a water boil. We have a water filter, a Sawyer water filter, that is so small, but it's so effective. It has the same filter that a dialysis machine is, and we can hook it to a water faucet, and they don't have to boil the water. They can just turn the faucet on, the water's drinkable. The trailer is equipped with life-saving items that'll work for whatever disaster there is.
Yeah, and we'll show this here.
And there's a picture of some of the items that you'll see in there.
Okay, we're absolutely out of time. We got about 15 seconds. Bob, what do you see for the growth of Disaster Aid USA over the next 5, 10, 15 years? What do you think?
I think it's growing. I think that we need to keep promoting it. We need to create awareness. I think that once our trailers start being used when disasters occur, people are going to understand our needs more. They're going to support us better. And I think in 10 or so years, we're going to be pretty much throughout the United States.
Thank you very much, Bob Grill and Kyle Morford, as we create the Emerald Planet.
Osama bin Laden calls getting nuclear weapons a religious duty.
Today, materials that can be used to make nuclear weapons are stored in more than 40 countries.
Sometimes protected by just a chain link fence.
Yet not enough is being done to lock down these materials
before terrorists steal them.
Why did we learn all this?
My mother.
My son.
My sister-in-law.
Were all murdered September 11th.
Help protect America.
Together we can.
Please join us.
The stem cell issue is being debated throughout the country. Truth is, most everyone has an opinion, even if they don't know the facts.
Let's stop arguing and start really understanding the potential of stem cell research.
For us and for millions of Americans living with disabilities, get the facts.
Call 1-877-842-3442 for free information from the Stem Cell Research Foundation. That's 1-877-842-3442.
Following the tragic events of September 11th, there have been hundreds of violent attacks against innocent Americans.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
Remember, please stop the hate.
We're stronger when we are united.
Remember
what that flag you're waving stands for.
One nation under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty
and justice
for all.
In America, there's either room for everyone or it's not America. Don't pick the wrong fight.
Let's keep America land of the free.
Stop the hate.
Planning a home renovation? Put this at the top of your to-do list. Because after 10 years, none of you are protected against tetanus and another potentially fatal disease, diphtheria. A minor injury, such as a cut or a scrape, can put you at risk for a tetanus infection. And while safety gear offers some protection, an up-to-date vaccination called the TD Booster is the best insurance against tetanus. So get the TD booster. If it's been 10, do it again.
Okay, just look at me.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe in 144 different nations looking for those 1,000 best practices that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And of course, as we go to a planet of 9 billion people, one of the major challenges, actually the very essence of the challenge, is water and wastewater treatment. And we have a gentleman that's coming in from Israel by Skype and has been on the Emerald Planet before. And also his very able colleague is sitting right beside me. But Jeremy Weissman is the CEO of EPS Technology Limited, coming out of Israel by Skype. And then our special guest and in-studio Skype backup is Charles Chuck Botwick, and Charles has been on with us before. He's the president of CHB Infrastructure Technology and Marketing Group, and he's in Washington, D.C. So, Jeremy, welcome. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. Glad to have you here. And Chuck, thank you for being here as a backup. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about EPS Technology, and then I'm going to change our format a little bit. I have your images. I love them, and we're going to walk through those and let us and tell us a little bit about the technologies. But first of all, what about EPS Technology?
It's EPC, but that's all right. EPC is a private-owned company. Started the R&D in 1988 and established in 1992. We are a leading wastewater treatment company providing cleantech solutions for over 20 years. We have hundreds of installations in Israel, Europe, and Middle East. We comply with all international standards. We are a UN supplier and an authorized vendor for the US government. We own an advanced patent technology, and we're still keeping the R&D as one of the essence of the company.
Well, it's really fantastic, and we see some of this technology in front of us, and I think, is this for an individual home that we're looking at right now?
Yes, that's what we see is construction of an installation of an on-site wastewater treatment for individual home, small footprint, a very efficient system. And I would like to point out that when we go to do the job, we design an efficient, innovative process and perform throughout all stages of project, from site survey and laboratory tests to the regulatory approval, which is the worst part of it, and all of it in accordance with the EPA and the Virginia Health Department on-site wastewater system manual and regulations.
Well, looking at the site that you have here, this is a home, I believe it's in Israel, but this is what it would look like if it was in the United States or the UK or Japan and other places. And how do you design this so it literally is almost right beside the house, but yet there's evidently no smell that's going to come from this, and it's very energy efficient?
Our goal was to design a system from the eyes of the end user, which means we don't want to have any noise, any odors, and any interruption in his private life. What you see over there, as a matter of fact, is a BuyaBrick, which is the small system, and as you see it, it's about I would say 20 feet from the bedrooms. And you see over there, the lady is checking something. And it's quite safe because you don't smell, you don't see, you don't hear. And there is a very minimal needs for maintenance or any special interference.
Well, I'm going to show, this is the image that I really wanted to get to show the water. Tell us about this water. I know this is something that you pride yourself on. I'm not going to steal your thunder, so tell us a little bit about what we're looking at right here.
To be honest with you, I'm really proud with these results, because the water, the effluent that we get from our installation, whether it's a homeowner or individual home system or a bigger system, is really a clear effluent. You can put it in a bottle next to any other bottled water, and you wouldn't see the difference. You can open it and you wouldn't smell it. That's the reason why we can use it as irrigation next to the house with any fear.
I tell you, that's absolutely fantastic. And that's the BuyaBrick technology, I believe. Is that correct, Jeremy?
Yes, and that's exactly fit our vision, which is to create a platform which consists of a wide range of technologies, products, and services that really contribute to our customers and to the environment. Because we believe that the environmental needs has to guide us with our long-term research and development, the benefit of the customers, in order really to get this kind of effluent, which is the ultimate goal.
Well, as you know, we have your dear friend and colleague right beside me. This is Chuck Botwick. Introduce him again, of CHB, Infrastructure Technology and Marketing Group. And he's going to ask you the next question, and I'm going to shift over to the larger system. But Chuck, why don't you go ahead and ask Jeremy the next question?
Well, Jeremy, throughout the world, there are a lot of drought conditions, and the drought conditions are looking to get worse in many areas. How can your technology help in these situations, both in the United States and around the world?
I will divide the answer to two. First, I will describe the problem and then the solution that give the answers. Wastewater treatment in isolated area and in small communities create serious environmental and operational challenges, because the infrastructure for wastewater collection and distribution system require really a significant capital investment, maintenance, and lead time. And then we come with the solution. The on-site wastewater treatment plants are preferable as they are designed to handle efficiently small daily flow rates of sewage without the hassle of executing complicated and expensive construction projects that require very long lead time. The clear effluent can be used for irrigation in the surrounding area, replacing potable water, whether it's from homeowner for gardening around or for large unit for agriculture, as we're doing it in Israel. In Israel, we use about 85 or more % of all treated wastewater or effluent, which is come as a clear water for agriculture needs.
I think that's really fantastic. And what we're looking at right now, Jeremy, of course, is your patented BioDisc technology. And what types of communities does this have the best fit with? And then how can your technologies help to solve this issue of expanding and protecting the watersheds in various communities, not only in Israel, the United States, but thousands of communities all around the globe?
The BioDisc serves basically small communities and public facilities with a lot of activities, like army camps that we are doing in Israel, UN installation, recreation area, as we're now planning in Virginia, that I will tell you later. These systems, the benefits are they are easy to install, very short construction time. We can deliver a BioDisc system within 4 to 5 months for full operation. It's a low operation and maintenance cost, only about 30% of any other system. As you can see, it's small footprint. These systems that are in the background, for example, can handle a small community of 200 families. So that's how small it is. The energy, which is really one of the key factors, is very low power consumption, and we have only 10% of consumption of any conventional system. There is no odor and no chemical free, and we had lately a delegation coming from Virginia, and there was no odor, no chemicals. It's a modular system that can be easily meet growing needs. We can enlarge the system. We can handle up to 500,000 gallons per day in any requested effluent quality.
Yeah, this is really amazing technology. Chuck, why don't you go ahead and ask the next question?
Well, Jeremy, local communities are the place that use these type of systems. How easy is it for local citizens to learn how to install and operate these systems? And are there opportunities for jobs, green jobs, for manufacturing and assembly, and further for training and education in the local communities?
I will answer you the question, but first let me tell you why we choose, and that will lead me to the other part of the question.
Jeremy, you have to be quick because we're almost out of time.
We decided to use Virginia as a hub and a base for manufacturing and create green jobs over there. We did it based on the what we got from all the help from the nice people over there, crossing all the regulation and the rules and regulation. The maintenance of the system, and that's what's nice about it, can be done locally by local people. You don't have to be even a college guy. We can train people very easily. And as a matter of fact, we just had some talks with Tazewell University in order to create a course for local kids over there.
Jeremy, we have one last question. We have to be quick. You're about 15 seconds. What do you see for the growth of your company over the next 5, 10, and 15 years?
Oh, I think that we can serve hundreds of units per year and solve a lot of environmental problems, whether it's in Chesapeake Bay or other waterways that are around the state.
Well, I tell you, I think it's fantastic what you're doing. This is Jeremy Weissman. He's coming in from the state of Israel, CEO of EPC Technology, and Chuck Botwick is sitting right beside me. And also, Chuck, you still have the Dulles Trade and Technology Center. I wanted to add that. Thank you for being with us. That's great. Thank you. Emerald Planet.
This is firstgov.gov, where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration. Here's your uncle.
So in the end, it was either take the astronaut gig or come work here. What can I say? Duty called.
Dude, that's my cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's Sam's cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Sam's. No.
Just log on or email us and get what you need.
C, change of address form. That's how it's done. D, driver's license renewal.
E, emailing Social Security information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, we'll allow it. All right, What are those?
Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time!
For all your government information, firstgov.gov.
Oh, what have we got here? Sometimes you feel tired. You can't seem to lose those extra pounds off your midsection. And your joints hurt when you take the stairs. Well, you're getting older. But I'm happy to say that there's some simple things we can do to keep you happy and healthy for years to come. We can also lower your risk for some serious diseases the older population is often subject to. Proper nutrition is more important than ever. Your body has changed, you know. Not as many treats. A basic exercise plan, lots of walks and fresh air, and most importantly, come and see me for twice-yearly checkups to help ensure the best possible quality of life. Now, how does that sound? Good boy.
Improve the quality of life for your elderly pet.
Schedule twice yearly checkups that include preventive care and regular lab work. A message from the veterinary members of the American Animal Hospital Association.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet and the Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products as we move forward through the 21st century. I am Dr. Sam Hancock, the President and Executive Director of Emerald Planet and Director and host for the Emerald Planet TV. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me that's engaged in a tremendous technology and also has real potential not only for the United States but all around the globe, because in every country there's a need not only to produce and transport good water, to be able to protect it at the same time. And I have Joseph Timothy, he goes by Tim Nippes, who is the president of the Repipe 4710. This is quite a name you have here, Tim. Water for the 21st Century. So welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about actually the name Repipe 4710 and about your organization, and then we'll get into the technology.
Well, repipe simply means to repipe. We replace a water line by putting a new one inside the existing one. The 4710 comes from PE 4710, which is the designation for a high-density polyethylene that is very robust. And because it's robust, it can be used in water lines.
Yeah, and what we want to do, let's bring on, I think we have, what, about 2-minute video. Let's look at this video. This is a dramatization of how this works, what it looks like. And so if we can go ahead and bring that up at this time, and this will really explain it, and then Tim, you and I will discuss it from then on.
With water budgets under constant stress from replacing aging infrastructure, a new cost-saving product is available to stretch these budgets. It's Repipe 4710, an in-situ pipeline replacement product made of high-density polyethylene. Here's how it works. Repipe 4710 is extruded round, then deformed into a compressed C-shape. The compressed C-shape creates a smaller cross-section, making it easier to install inside an existing pipe. Thus, its outside diameter is nearly 100% of an existing pipe's interior diameter when re-rounded. Each coil is manufactured specifically for a project's length, diameter, and pressure requirements. While the pipe is being manufactured, construction at the site begins. Site preparation for Repipe 4710 is similar to that of cement mortar lining. Temporary water lines are installed to provide water while the old main is out of service. The distribution main is isolated from the transmission main, dewatered, and cleaned. Existing fittings are located, excavated, and removed. A closed-circuit TV camera inspects the main's interior to be sure no fittings were missed. The main is now ready for installation of Repipe 4710. The compressed C-shaped pipe is pulled into the existing main by a winch or other means. It is then re-rounded using steam and air pressure. Once round and cooled to ambient temperature, new electrofusion or butt fusion fittings are installed. The new main is filled, chlorinated, and tested. When certified to be free of pathogens, the new main is put into service. The temporary water lines are then removed, the excavations backfilled, and the site restored to its original condition. Repipe 4710 is available in nominal sizes from 6 to 12 inches, with pressure ratings of up to 160 psi. Utilizing Repipe 4710 can reduce the cost of pipeline replacement by up to 25 to 30% of conventional dig and replace methods. Contact us today for your next distribution main replacement project.
Well, I tell you, this is fantastic, and what I want to do, if we can, is bring up this slide and show them what maybe a typical pipe looks like that's bringing water to a home or a company near you, if we can bring that up. But tell us about this. What are we looking at here, Tim? And why is this so critical to water systems really in every country, every community around the globe?
Well, what you're looking at is something called tuberculation. In the 40s and 50s, when cast iron mains were first installed, they had no interior lining. This created a situation where growth could occur inside the pipe. That pipe, once it got more tuberculation, it reduced the carrying capacity of the pipe. And if you need to fight fires and you don't have that capacity, it becomes a public service problem. The second thing it does is it can hold biofilms, which are pathogens that can cling to that uneven surface on the inside of a pipe.
Yeah, and that's, I guess we could say that's called nasty water.
Sometimes you get brown water, yes.
I'm going to go back. We skipped over this, but this is something that Washington, D.C., but I know major cities in the United States, being older cities, they have these burst water mains, and it's just a mess. So tell us what we're seeing around the globe as far as, you know, the bursting of these water mains, and then what is that really doing as far as the processing, the cost, and the value of the water, both from its original source and delivered to the customer?
Well, first of all, a burst pipe is the most expensive pipe to fix. So every year we spend in excess of $25 billion just fixing water mains.
Can you say that again? $25
billion every year to repair water main breaks.
My goodness, that's incredible. 25, that's real money.
Right. And you're losing in what is called non-revenue water an additional $3 billion in revenue.
So we're now at $28 billion is the cost.
At a minimum. The AWWA, which is the American Water Works Association, estimates that over the next 25 years, you will need to spend $1 trillion to bring our underground infrastructure up to par.
That's $1 trillion.
$1 trillion. They estimate that $500 billion of that will be used to replace existing infrastructure, and an additional $500 billion for new pipes to accommodate shifts in population.
That's absolutely incredible. And getting over here, I wanted to have this put up. This is really just absolutely amazing. Tell us what this sign is really sharing with us and how it relates to cities around the country.
Well, as you can see, that pipe was finally abandoned in 1994. So it was used since 1904. It's typical of what our infrastructure looks like. It's old and not necessarily of the most prime materials. That line, I'm sure, was fixed many, many times.
Yeah, and of course at great cost. But looking at the problems in the United States and abroad, what are we really doing? We're spending billions of dollars around the globe to process water, to get it into the distribution system, and then what's happening?
We're losing it. We lose 2.1 trillion gallons of water between the treatment plant and the home every year. And just to get an idea of what that is, if you were to flood the island of Manhattan, it would be under 300 feet of water. That's how
much we're losing.
That's how much we're losing.
So how did you come up with this idea about the Repipe 4710, and why such a different name, as far as your company is concerned?
Well, in my industry, because we're not appealing to the retail market, we're really appealing to water professionals. Repipe meaning a new pipe, and 4710, they're all familiar with PE 4710. So it seemed like a natural thing to call it. We're not going to have on a NASCAR, but it works for our customers.
Well, sex appeal as far as those are really concerned about water and want to make sure that it gets to the customer in a very efficient and cost-effective manner. And you were talking about the amount of water lost, Manhattan, 300 feet of water and all that. It's just incredible. Go through the numbers with us, if you can, about, say, a small to medium scale water system somewhere, and as far as what you could do as far as your repipe. How can you help them in time and materials and revenues from the ratepayers?
Well, ultimately, the ratepayers are going to have to pay more. We can't get away from that. But for small and medium-sized systems, by not losing water, not having emergency personnel available, not the potential every time a water main breaks, you have the potential of destroying the gas line, water infiltration into the electric lines if the electric is underground, telecommunications, the pavement. There are a number of things that affect it, not necessarily just the pipe itself.
Yeah, why don't you show our viewers there what you have as far as the display. You have the pipe. Let's show the pipe first, and then show the repipe.
Okay, this is the pipe. This is a round pipe.
Yeah, there you go. Hold it still. There you go.
All right, and this is the repipe. This is what it starts off being, because it's easy to put it inside of an existing pipe. It just fits in there, and then once you attach some fittings to either end, you use steam and air, and you'll re-round it. This piece of pipe actually looked like this when it first started. So we made it round. You can see how easily that goes inside each other.
And this is going through. Now, looking at the pipe that you're putting in, the old pipe, and of course we had this, let's go back up to this issue here. How do we actually get this corrosion, if I can use that term, out of there so that you can actually start putting the repipe in?
Well, there's actually a regular industry called relining pipes, and there are companies that come in and actually clean that percolation out. They isolate various parts of the line. You pull this in and it will attach. You just put it back as a new pipe. It's no longer an old pipe.
Where's your company going over the next 5-10 years?
We
gotta be quick.
Okay, well, we are going to grow like gangbusters because we have legislation that provides funding. That's the key ingredient to our success.
Well, Tim, thank you for being with us on EmeraldPlanet TV. This is absolutely incredible what the work that you're doing and the way you're trying to save localities money and what they're doing. This is Tim Nippens. Thank you for being with us as we create